Shocking things you didn't know about Zara and Mike Tindall's kids. There's a family living quietly at the edge of the royal family's orbit, and most people have absolutely no idea how extraordinary their story really is. Not extraordinary in the way of crowns and tiaras, extraordinary in the way of real life, raw moments, brave choices, and children being raised in a way that would make most royal watchers do a double take. We're talking about Zara and Mike Tindall's kids, and once you hear some of these things, you'll never look at this family the same way again. Let's start at the very beginning, because the beginning itself is already unlike anything else in the royal family. Mia Grace Tindall was born in January 2014, and she came into the world in a way that set the tone for everything that followed. No grand palace announcement, no official statement draped in centuries of tradition. Mike Tindall, former England rugby player, man of the people, announced his daughter's birth on Twitter. Just like that, a tweet. In a family where births are sometimes announced by a town crier standing outside a hospital, the Tindalls chose a social media post. And honestly, that tells you everything you need to know about how they've chosen to raise their children. But here's something even more striking about Mia. She is 12th in line to the throne. 12th. And yet she goes to a local school. She rides horses. She hangs out at rugby matches sitting on her dad's shoulders. She eats at the pub. She is, by every visible measure, a normal child. And that is not an accident. That is a deliberate, carefully chosen way of life that her parents have fought to protect. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. Zara Tindall, Queen Elizabeth's granddaughter, daughter of Princess Anne, experienced 2 miscarriages before the birth of her son Lucas. 2. And she and Mike spoke about it publicly. That alone is remarkable. In a family that has historically kept pain behind closed doors, the Tindalls opened up. Mike spoke on his podcast about losing a baby at Christmas, about how heartbreaking that period was, about what it did to them as a couple. Zara gave an interview where she said the loss needed to be talked about more openly because too many women suffer in silence. Do you think more public figures should speak about pregnancy loss the way the Tindalls did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. That kind of honesty is rare anywhere. In royal circles, it's almost unheard of. And it shaped the way their children have been raised, in a home where emotion is not hidden, where real life is not dressed up and presented for public approval. Their second daughter, Lena Elizabeth Tindall, was born in June 2018. And again, the birth was announced simply and warmly, with a short statement and a first name that carries a beautiful private tribute. Lena's middle name, Elizabeth, was chosen in honor of Queen Elizabeth II, Zara's grandmother, a quiet, personal nod to a woman who meant the world to their family. No fanfare, just love. That's how the Tindalls do things. Lena is growing up with a front row seat to history without even knowing it. She attended the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations as a toddler, and photos of her at those events are some of the most joyful images to come out of the whole weekend. Lena, completely unaware of the magnitude of the moment, simply being a child in the middle of it all. It was genuinely beautiful. And then there's Lucas Philip Tindall, born in November 2021. And his entrance into the world might be the most dramatic birth story in recent royal history. He was born on the bathroom floor, at home, unexpectedly fast, with Mike delivering him because there simply wasn't time for anything else. Mike shared this story on the Good, the Bad, and the Rugby podcast, and the reaction was enormous. People were stunned. Here is a man who played international rugby, who has faced some of the most physically demanding situations a professional sportsman can face. And he said delivering his own son on the bathroom floor was one of the most intense experiences of his life. Lucas's middle name is Philip, chosen as a tribute to Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, who passed away just months before Lucas was born. It was a deeply personal gesture. Prince Philip meant a great deal to the entire royal family, and particularly to Zara, who grew up with him as a constant presence. Naming her son after him was Zara's way of carrying him forward. What makes Lucas's story even more interesting is this. He is the only boy among 3 children, and he is already showing signs of the kind of bold, boisterous personality you'd expect from a child with his parentage. Mike has spoken about Lucas with such warmth and humor. You get the sense that this household is loud, joyful, and wonderfully chaotic. Now, here's something many people overlook when they think about Zara and Mike's kids. None of them hold royal titles. Not one. Mia, Lena, and Lucas are all commoners in the technical sense, because Zara herself does not hold a royal title. This was actually a choice made for Zara before she was even born. Princess Anne famously declined titles for her children, wanting them to grow up as normally as possible. And Zara has said publicly that she's grateful for that decision, that it gave her a childhood and a life that felt real in a way that might not have been possible otherwise. She's now making the same choice for her own children. They are royals by blood and by family, but not by title. They are free in a way that their cousins in the direct line of succession simply are not. Does that freedom make them more relatable to you? Or do you think titles matter in the royal family? The Tindall children also have something else that sets them apart. A deeply grounded, sport-loving environment. Zara is one of the most accomplished equestrians in the world. She is an Olympic silver medalist, a former world champion in eventing. She rides competitively while also raising 3 children and managing the public curiosity that comes with being who she is. Mia, in particular, has already shown a love for horses, and there's every chance she could follow in her mother's footsteps. The discipline, the resilience, the physical courage it takes to compete at that level, those values are woven into the fabric of this family's daily life. Mike, for his part, brings a warmth and a humor to fatherhood that has genuinely endeared him to the public. He doesn't perform fatherhood for cameras. He lives it. He shows up at school gates. He talks about the chaos of bedtime routines. He makes people laugh about the very real mess and joy of raising 3 small children. And that authenticity, that refusal to present a curated version of their family life, is what makes the Tindalls so uniquely beloved. There's also the matter of where these children are growing up. The Tindalls live in Gloucestershire, in the same general area as King Charles's Highgrove estate. They are part of a tight-knit rural community, where the children attend local schools and grow up alongside regular families. They go to birthday parties and sports days and supermarket trips just like everyone else. Neighbors apparently barely raise an eyebrow. That is the life Zara and Mike have built, on purpose. What's perhaps most shocking of all, in the best possible way, is that in a family so often defined by its struggles, its scandals, and its painful public moments, the Tindall children are growing up seemingly happy, grounded, loved fiercely and privately. They are being raised to know where they come from without being crushed by it.